The countdown begins. The first ever Agile Transformation Summit podcast is tonight, 30 days and counting. Good evening, everyone. My name is Eddie Vidal, and I will be your host for tonight's podcast. Today, we're going to learn about Agile. We're going to learn about the Agile Transformation Summit one-day event. We're going to get some potential discounts to the event. And before we get all started with all the good and fun stuff, I am going to welcome my two guests today. I have the two co-founders of the South Florida Agile Association, Alex Cannon and Rick Rigera. Alex, welcome. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here tonight.
For everybody that doesn't know Alex, he is a global citizen, a change enabler, and he radically thinks outside the box. He co-founded South Florida Agile Association in January 2013 and has been on a mission to spread Agile awareness within the local and national user communities, and is currently the conference chair for ATS 2015. He has led technology transformations and product development within several organizations and is currently the Director of Project Management at SpaFinder in Miami. Alex has earned his undergraduate degree from the US, his MBA from the UK across the pond, and holds several Agile professional certifications in SAFe. Alex, besides that, it seems like you're a world traveler. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I do love to get on a plane and go somewhere new, meet new people, sample new food, look at the culture and what brought us to where we are today.
And how many different countries have you visited so far?
Well, to be honest, I didn't count, and I was up to 44 countries, so pretty much I've been to every continent on the planet except Antarctica so far.
Well, that's the first tweet. 44 countries, Alex Cannon.
Thank you.
Also, I am so honored to be introducing Rick Rigera, co-founder of the South Florida Agile Association. He has a PMP, a CSP. He's a co-trainer of CSM and CSPO classes. If I were to add the FBI, DEA, and all these other CIA agencies, we'd go on and on all night long. But besides that, he's worked as a project manager and an agile coach for several large companies throughout South Florida. Spherion, Carnival Cruise Lines, Burger King, Kaplan, and currently IPC Subways. Rick, welcome to the show tonight. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ed. Thank you very much for having me. Very excited about having this podcast.
Well, tell us, what is this standing desk? What's that all about?
That's the new wave of being agile. If you can't stand while you work, so it really entails a lot of being fit, making sure that I take care of my body. So I'm very into sports, but it's pretty strange when people see me standing right next to them and they're actually sitting down working next to me. But it is something I've been doing for a year now, so I'm keeping it up, and it's very exciting.
Well, good for you. I'm jealous. And there's also, you have a first love of teaching. What's that all about?
As soon as I finished college, I actually went into special ed education and actually even working with at-risk kids. And that's always been a passion of mine, is to give back to nonprofit organization, give back to kids. I actually volunteer for the CAPAL program, which is a program that helps kids understand the business and different companies and what they go through. But very rewarding.
Well, you know, that makes sense because both of you guys are volunteering your time and you have a lot of passion and energy to put together this user group, and I really want to commend you about that. If anybody wants to keep the conversations going and reach out to Alex and Rick, there is their LinkedIn profile and there is their Twitter handle. So feel free to reach out to them during today's podcast. They will be more than happy to answer your questions. So before we get started, one of the reasons that we're so successful is because we have sponsors for this event. First, I want to reach out and say Rally Software is our diamond sponsor. They're a leading global provider of enterprise-class software and service solutions that drive business agility. Rally's SaaS platform transforms the way organizations manage the software development lifecycle by aligning software development and strategic business objectives, facilitating collaboration, and increasing transparency. Rally's consulting and training services apply agile and lean approaches to help organizations innovate, lead, adapt, and deliver. So before we get to some of the questions for Alex and Rick, if you have your own questions, go ahead and use the hashtag ATS2015. And for those of us that are losing our hair, have some gray hair, we may call it a pound sign or a tic-tac-toe sign. But for tonight, it's going to be hashtag ATS2015. And one other thing, if you tweet your questions, we're going to be giving away something at the end of the show, and we'll pick out one of the questions that you tweeted to us. So without further ado, let's get started. And I'm going to do my first question to Alex. And Rick, feel free to join in and add anything to this if Alex missed something. But Alex, how was the South Florida Agile Association formed from Agile Palooza to ATS 2015? Share that with us if you could.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was very funny. I moved here to South Florida a couple of years ago, and I didn't really know a lot of people. And my wife and I, she was working in Agile at the time, and I had done some Agile. There was Agile Palooza going on in town, so we went there just really to spend the day and for her to get caught up with her work stuff. And we had an amazing day. I mean, there were speakers that enlightened us about ways that we were doing our work, and we got together, 8 of us got together towards the end. We had an open space, and we were like, this is really amazing. How do we keep this energy going, once this is over? We're not just going to walk out of here and not, do this again. So, before you know it, we had a meeting like 3 weeks later. About maybe 25, 30 people showed, and then like the next month we had another meeting, and then the next month we had another meeting, and we just kept on growing. I mean, we started like from the original 5 to 8 people that actually wanted to do something about it. We have about 800 members now. And, it's just amazing what it's done to all of us. I mean, one of our board members totally retooled herself. She changed careers. She immersed herself in Agile. And she's now actually working with Agile at Ultimate Software. So, I mean, it really is a life-altering experience. And we've really been able to work well together. And we've introduced things like Evening with the Gurus, where we're bringing thought leaders into the area who are visiting town and connecting them to the user community to benefit the user community. And we've had a couple of conferences as well. We had the High Performing Teams conference a couple of years ago, and the next conference was Agile Tools Summit in 2014. And in all honesty, I'll tell you the story, and maybe I shouldn't really be saying it in front of everybody, but we was starting the conference with 150 people, and then right towards the end, we just the interest was amazing, and we had to keep on adding room and actually capped the attendance at 420, and we had 100 people on the waiting list. We just couldn't accommodate them. The venue was just not big enough. So I just think it was an incredible group of people that got together, and an incredible user community that supported us. And we are here really to help the user community, and I'm glad to be part of this.
That's an amazing story, because I bet you can agree with this. When you put together some people on a team, and you all work well together, and you're all passionate about something, magic can form. And it's really interesting in volunteer organizations what you can do. And sometimes you wish you can take that into your paying organization, and many times we don't see that. So I really want to commend you on that.
Thank you, Eddie. Honestly speaking, I don't take credit for it. It's the 8 board members and the entire South Florida user community, plus a lot of volunteers who are really working overtime to help us put on this for the user community. So thanks to everybody.
So tell us a little bit about. Go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry.
I just want to add how quickly we grew. It's just amazing, and he very humble, and the way he said that was, Alex, you did a great job. But it's just the speed of how quickly we're growing is just phenomenal. I think it's one of the fastest growing Agile groups out there. So it's just amazing to be a part of this.
So with all this growth, you got the 8 board members that are kicking some butt. They're putting this event together. We're 30 days and counting. Give us a preview about ATS 2015.
Well, I can't start talking about ATS 2015 until I've had a chance to thank all our volunteers. I mean, I mentioned them in passing, but we've got about 30 volunteers helping us, and some of them have been carried over from last year, who are really working, putting in 10, 20, some even 30 hours a week, helping us put this conference. So we're not, and applause to all these volunteers. And also, we have to give a nod to all the sponsors. I mean, the largest sponsor we have is Rally, who's our diamond sponsor, you know, we're very grateful for them. Without them, we wouldn't be here today. And definitely, we have to remember to thank Nova, who's our partner, and who helps us put on these conferences and helps us keep the costs down so that we can have as many people attend as possible. So without further ado, ATS 2015 is going to be bigger and better than ATS 2014. We've kind of listened to everybody, and we've tried to do more. I think some of the people last year were complaining that you know, they had a hard time selecting their session. Well, you're in for a bigger complaint this year because we've got more sessions with more gurus coming in, and we've got amazing tracks this year. We've got tracks on the mechanics of Agile, tracks on the executive interest, tracks on people and culture, and we've got a technical track that we've really tried to attract the technical audience from the South Florida community. And we've got an at-scale track, and we're also doing something for the first time this year. We're doing Agile games, so there'll be several games that teach you how to become more agile as you play a game. So we have 3 amazing keynotes this year. One of the keynotes is going to be Ken Rubin, who's the first managing director for Scrum Alliance and the author of Amazon's #1 best-selling book, Essential Scrum. Ken is an amazing person. He's an authority in Agile and Scrum, and he's trained over 20,000 people and coached over 200 companies from startups to Fortune 10. And I actually believe that Ken is online with us tonight. So just want to give a nod to Ken and thank him for joining us tonight. Thank you, Ken. The other keynote is Lisenia Rojas. She's a vice president for technology at a global Fortune 100 company in financial services. And we're not allowed to announce the name of the company. But I'll tell you something. You will be very excited to see Lisenia. She leads a multi-year Agile and Delivery Transformation initiative globally, and she has a highly strategic and complex initiative in a highly regulated environment. So, you know, come and learn how you overcome all these obstacles. And then the final keynote is going to be Eric Willicke. He's an Agile Transformation consultant driving the largest scaled Agile implementation globally. This is the first one in the world that's at this level. So we're very lucky to have him. He's also an expert on Lean Kanban and architecture. Do I have more time, or am I out of time?
Well, I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to ask you, PDUs, SEUs, I saw something online about that. Really quick, what does that all mean?
Okay, attending our conference, the reasons people would attend our conference is there's going to be a lot of thought leadership. So you're learning from industry leaders. Earning PDUs and SEUs. PDUs and SEUs are educational units that PMI and Scrum Alliance give you for participating in some educational and knowledge acquiring sessions. So we are you earn up to 8 PDUs and 8 SEUs for participating and attending the sessions. You get to mingle with executives. I mean, where else do you get to meet executive from the largest South Florida companies and have a chat with them one-on-one? You get to network with people who have been either starting with Agile, so you learn what they're doing, or who have been in Agile for a while. So you really learn from your peers. And that's really the benefit of having this user community. We also have Agile tools over there, so people get to experience with what the latest and the greatest tools are out there. And one of the things that we're trying to do is also give back to the community. And we've established an endowment fund at Nova that the proceeds from ATS 2015 will go to. And we really, you know, Agile is about cutting waste. We really didn't want to have any waste. Like even the food, the leftover food, we're going to donate to some local charities. So Please come and support us and learn as much as you can on that day. You would really get a lot out of being there. Thank you.
Alex, that's amazing stuff. Now, anybody that's listening, don't forget hashtag ATS2015. Please tweet us your questions or go ahead and use the chat session here on the GoToMeeting. If you're wanting to find out some more information about the Agile Transformation Summit next month, there's a link on the bottom right of this slide. Let's go to question number 3. I'm going to turn this over to Rick. Rick, why are companies going agile?
Thank you, Eddie. There's so many reasons they're going to Agile. I'm just going to probably cover a couple of them. I think many of these big organizations just had enough with a lot of the standards, the paperwork, the overwhelming amount of process that a lot of these waterfall, which is the traditional methodology behind project management, they just had enough. And basically, here, let me give you a little story. So I went to a friend of mine. A friend of mine was asking me for some advice and said, hey, Rick, I'm doing an Agile project here. Why don't you come over here and help me? I have some questions. And as soon as I went over there, the first thing that I actually saw was a stack of paper. There was 1,000 sheets. And he says, these are my requirement documents, Rick. This is what I need to work with. And I was startled, and I was like, okay, I'm even afraid to actually look through them. So the next thing that I went over there and said, okay, let me go take a look at the meetings that you guys are having. And I sat in on one of their meetings, and all I heard, so here I am sitting around this meeting. You had a project manager to one side, you had a developer to the other side, you had the business owner to one side. And all I noticed was a contradiction. Each individual was protecting their area. So project managers, he was hiding the scope. The developers, everything's perfect, nothing's broken. The business, all they were doing was trying to document every problem that these guys were facing so that they can collect on it. It seemed like it was a war. They weren't actually working as a team. So Agile brings in a lot of new concepts that are pretty exciting. Instead of working in these silos, you've seen it, developers, QAs. When a developer finishes with his code, he tosses it over to QA. QA finds something, yes, tosses it back to the developer, back and forth, back and forth. What do we pay the QA person for? To find bugs. That's what their incentive is for. What Agile takes is a different approach. It's saying, hey, we all work as one team. So from actually creating the business requirements, everybody's involved, all the way out to deployment. Now everybody becomes accountable. Everybody actually is reaching that same goal. No more pointing fingers. Hey, it's operations issue. Hey, it's the business analyst that wrote the requirements incorrectly. All those things can actually remove the synergy that you have in teams. But to add to that, there's also what we call self-empowering. We in the Agile world like to, okay, Eddie, let me ask you a question. If I tell you what to do every day at work, you come in and every day I'm actually telling you, I need you to do these 5 things, I need you to do these things. After a while, you think it's hard for you to use creativity. It's hard for you to look outside the box, just like Alex mentioned earlier. So we in the Agile world, we empower our teams to look beyond, to ask the questions, to fail fast. These are very important principles that we truly cherish. But those are just to name a few of the items. Here, let me give you one other very important item why people go to Agile. Have you ever used a product that for some reason you're only using 5% of that product? If you notice a lot of the software out there, all you're using is 5%. Why? Why are softwares created that way? Because they never looked at what's important for the user. With Agile, what we do is we prioritize all the features. Hey, what do we want to create? And we only give them the features that have the highest priority. So guess what? In the next 2 weeks, you're going to receive the features you want. You don't have to wait a year down the line. It's there for you to use, provide feedback, positive or negative feedback. We want all kinds of feedback here. That's how we grow, that's how we learn. So once you provide that feedback, then we can improve the product. And it's constantly improving and evolving. So as we finish this product, you're delivering not what the user wants, but what the user needs, because we're understanding their needs. So that's a humongous advantage in this different way of looking at it. And this is just to name a few. I highly recommend that if you really want to get a good understanding, you want to go ahead and go to this conference. It's amazing. It's going to have, like Alex says, it's going to have amazing speakers, a lot of people there to help you, guide you in the right direction. I hope I'm good with time.
Rick, you know what? It's like, what took so damn long for this to happen? I agree. I mean, I wish this would have happened earlier in our careers, and now's the time to take advantage of this. Too bad we can't use some agile type of methodologies for divorce court, but that's another podcast. Let's go to the next question. Why is the South Florida Agile Alliance succeeding where other user groups have failed? Let me start with Rick, and then Rick, you pass it along to Alex.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think Alex mentioned a great history of the group, and it really was where we all were in one room and we said, okay, guys, now we want to start an organization. What do we do? So one of the main principles that we agreed upon as a board was that we don't have a president here. Everyone is equal. Everyone works together as a team, that synergy. We felt that was very important for us to have that. So we are all servant leaders. We lead when we need to lead, like Alex's amazing job leading us right now through this conference, and we follow when we need to follow. And that's what our core is. But on top of that, we truly believe in empowering ourselves in the traditional Agile, able to propose new ideas. We actually hold each other accountable. Again, another very important principle of Agile. We generally, believe it or not, we generally do like each other, but there are some times that we have conflict, and we actually like conflict. In this Agile world, conflict is good because it allows you to open up and say, well, we're pursuing the truth here. What is the truth? So those are very strong principles that we follow. We have very vocal members, and we're always constantly engaged, so I'm very proud to be part of that group. Alex, the baton is passed.
Thank you, Rick. In all honesty, I give this a lot of thought, because I've been asked a lot, why you guys, we've tried to do this before, and it lasts for a few months, and then it kind of dies off. I really think it's about the passion, and it's not just about our passion as board members or as South Florida Agile Association. Our passion is contagious. It's gone to our volunteers. It's gone to the people who attend our conference. It goes to the gurus that come and speak with us. And we're really about giving users what they ask for. And I think I want to say something. We tend to, like the way we run SFAA, we complement each other. And we live by these Scrum values with commitment, courage, focus, respect, and openness. We all want to win, but we all want each other to win. And more importantly, we want the entire user community to win. And we really believe in the local talent. And one of the things that we're trying to do is to help the local talent and actually create a new tech hub in Miami. I don't see any reason why Miami can't become the next Silicon Valley. So I think really it's the passion that we have is bringing us together and keeping us together. Eddie?
Guys, let me add something. One of the things that Rick had said is about conflict, and I use this quote in a lot of my presentations, and I forgot where I got it from, but I say conflict is inevitable, combat is optional. And the thing about conflict is, as long as you don't keep it personal, it is healthy. It is the foundation because it builds trust, and it's foundation of all teams. So if you guys are really going at it, as long as you don't keep it personal, I commend you. Keep up the good work. A Question number 5, guys. How do people get involved with the South Florida Agile Association? And better yet, why should they? Alex.
Starting with me, huh? Okay, our main communication channel is Meetup. We post all our events on Meetup, and so people can follow us on Meetup, and they'll get to find what we do. Um, Somebody's playing the TV very loud, so if you could please mute yourself. Thank you. Um, the other thing that we use is we recently started launching monthly newsletters. We use LinkedIn. We are starting to use Facebook and Twitter. We're kind of new to Facebook and Twitter. And um, I think people should get involved because they need to, people want to make themselves better. This is an opportunity that they have to make themselves better. We are a free user organization. We are all volunteers. We don't make anything out of this. We are really here to help you guys. And, take advantage of us. Take advantage of the events that we have and come and become better people and learn how to improve yourselves. Rick?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the target. Meetup is really our main focal point, but we also have that mailing list that really helps us out. But we're looking to grow. As you notice that we're expanding and we're constantly having more and more events. So we're really looking for anyone else that would like to participate to the next level and join us in this adventure. I personally want to take over the world in a sense. So I think we have the team in place, and I think we're going to be very successful. Thank you.
Rick and Alex, thank you. That's the questions that we have for today's podcast. We have a question from Doug H. It says, would you guys consider the sessions at ATS 2015 for those of us who are unable to attend the speeches we want? I'm assuming Doug wants to know if maybe you guys are going to be recording any sessions, whether it's on audio or video at next month's event.
We don't have any plans to record any sessions, although some people have volunteered to bring, they said, I want to record this session. So it's different pockets, but we don't have any plans for doing that, unfortunately. We don't have the capacity or the manpower to do that right now.
To add to that, even though we might not be able to record it, we do record some of the monthly sessions that we have that are pretty exciting. So for members, we'll give them an opportunity to view some of those recordings, and that will be coming soon.
Well, if not, then for ATS 2016, get ready.
But
okay.
I'll tell you something, Eddie. We will be posting the presentations online, so if you want to find out what the information content was, you'll be able to get the context from those presentations.
And I like Dima's idea. She says, bring friends and strategically split attending the sessions, then do some cross notes. That's an awesome idea. Thanks, Dima.
Go, Dima.
Once again, these events that you're putting together are not possible without all the volunteers and sponsors. Microsoft is a gold sponsor for ATS 2015. Of course, Microsoft is an American multinational technology company headquartered in Redmond, Washington, that develops, manufactures, licenses, supports, and sells computer software, consumer electronics, and personal computers and services. A few times you guys have talked about, where is your vehicle to get everybody together? And this is the Meetup website for everybody that's not a member. If you're listening and you don't have this, I want to let everybody know that this webinar is brought to you by the South Florida Agile Association with over 700 members, but earlier Alex said 800 members in the South Florida area. The South Florida Agile Alliance Association is dedicated to promoting the use of agile practices and principles in project management and software development throughout South Florida. Agile development offers powerful ways to quickly deliver quality products to customers while responding to change and respecting the people and teams doing the work. Go to southfaa.com to join today. Now it's time for the book giveaway. The thing is, I want to see some questions on Twitter. We've had a question by Doug, but I want to see some questions on Twitter. And if I get a really good question on Twitter using the hashtag ATS2015, we will be giving away the book by Ken Rubin. Ken Rubin is a first managing director of Scrum Alliance and author of Amazon's #1 best-selling book, Essential Scrum, an authority on Agile and Scrum. Ken, Scrum, I stink. Ken has trained over 20,000 people and coached over 200 companies from startups to Fortune 10. I don't even think I've met 20,000 people in my life. So Ken, props to you. Thanks for joining us tonight. And if you want this book, tweet us a question to ATS2015.
One more thing, Eddie, is they can actually have Ken sign the book and personalize it during the conference. So we'll keep the book for you during the registration. When you take the book, Ken is going to have a book signing session. So bring your book and get it signed by Ken.
Absolutely. Well, here it is, 30 days and counting, the Agile Summit on May 28th, 1 month from today. Go to the website southfaa.com/ATS2015. Now, where is this conference at? It's at Nova Southeastern University Graduate School of Computer and Information Systems. We want to thank Nova Southeastern University. This is the second year in a row that the Agile South Florida Association has been able to partner up with them. Now you wonder, you know where it is? Now, how much is it going to cost? I'm going to turn it over to Alex. Alex, why don't you share some pricing with us?
Okay, we tried to extend the early bird as much as we could, and we really want to open it up so that many people can attend. The problem is that the later we report the number of people attending, the more the logistics start adding up, and the more difficult it becomes for us. So we're trying to kind of make that in a step approach this way to encourage more people to sign up earlier and save more money. We've got like a tiered pricing approach by which the price is going to go up every week by $10, and we really try to keep it as low as possible. And then, you know, we like I said, we want to encourage as many people to come in and attend, and we're keeping the prices as low as possible for that. But having said that, I'm going to pass it over to Rick, who has a special surprise for all of you who are online who have not bought your tickets yet.
So Rick, I'll let you run with this, but I know the Kmart Blue Light special is for us older guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty young, so I don't know what Kmart. But
he doesn't even know what Kmart is.
Hey, Alex, I think we got to do more than that, Alex. We got to give them a special today. You know what I mean?
I agree, Rick. I agree. I'm so grateful for everybody who's been able to join us tonight. So I think they deserve something for that.
All right, 25% discount only tonight, guys. So what I need you to do is once you go into that registration page, go ahead and type in promo 1528, and you're going to go ahead and receive that discount. But keep in mind, it's only for tonight till midnight, and then it expires. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and email your friends if they can quickly register. Save a couple bucks. It's worth it. Just to let you know, this is really very minimal. If you look at all the things that we're actually getting by going to the conference, you got your shirts, you get your lunch, you get all communication with a whole bunch of amazing agile evangelists out there. It's worth, you know, tenfold. So this is
Rick. Do you want to mention how much people pay to attend a class these days, roughly?
I've lost track of how much we're charging right now, but I think it's over $1,000 is what we're looking at.
So this is like what, like 10 minutes in one of those classes, 15 minutes in one of those classes?
Absolutely, and the people that are actually giving those classes are there. That's what's the amazing part of this. So yeah, this to me is free, practically free. So please join us. If you do not get this special, we still have some pretty good pricing out there, so please make sure you invite your friends, your co-workers. That would be great. Thank you.
And let me just add one thing. It's your participation as a user community that allows us to bring you these kind of programs. If you guys participate, you help us bring in and attract better speakers, better gurus from the rest of the country, from the rest of the world. So we're really doing it for all you guys.
And just to add to that, this is the only event that we actually charge for. every single event that we've had throughout, the months, it's free. So we're just trying to, because we need
Cover
the
our costs,
big
basically.
talent and larger groups in here, we do charge for, the food or whatnot, but it's really minimal.
And we are free to join, so it's not like we're charging membership fees either.
Yep.
Well, podcast listeners, you heard it here tonight. A 25% discount till midnight. Pay $81.75 using promo 1528. Once again, I want to thank our sponsors, Raleigh and Microsoft, to make ATS 2015 a success. I also want to let anybody that's a sponsor here know that we still have 2 Expo sponsor spots available. If you're interested, call Tony DePerna, who's in charge of sponsorship. He's available to talk to you. He's available to take your money, too. So before we wrap this up, there is one question by Core CBS Sports on our Twitter feed. Alex or Rick, I don't know who wants.
Muted.
Exciting
Unmuted.
difference between this year's Tools Summit over last year's.
I'm sorry, Eddie. Somebody was muting you, so I missed half of what you said.
Okay, so let me repeat that again. And someone's playing with the controls. This is Apollo 13, and we're about to crash land. In any case, Core CBS Sports on our Twitter feed asked a question. What's the biggest and most exciting difference between this year's Tools Summit over last year's?
Everything is bigger and better this year. I mean, we were new last year. We learned a lot last year, and you will see it when you come this year. The speakers are amazing this year. The keynotes, we have 3 keynotes. I mean, I can't stop talking about, what kind of speakers are going to come and talk this year and what they will be talking about. So I'm going to have to leave it as a surprise. You're going to have to come and check for yourself.
Okay, so Core CBS Sports, I want you to reach out to Alex after this podcast so you can get Ken Rubin's book. You have won the book. Congratulations.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Everybody, let's keep these conversations going. There is the South Florida Agile Association website. There is the link for Meetup. There is the Twitter feed, and there is the LinkedIn group. So there's many ways to communicate with this group. But before we wrap up, let's take some last-minute parting thoughts from Alex and Rick from our first ever South Florida Agile Association podcast. Any last parting words?
I just want to thank you, Eddie, for helping us reach a wider group. I mean, this is really, it's been amazing. I wasn't expecting it to be this much fun, and it was really an amazing experience. And thanks to everybody who's been supporting us over the last 2 or 3 years, to our volunteers, to our sponsors who helped us get to where we are today, and definitely to everybody who took the time out to come here and listen to us today. Thank you all so much, and I look forward to meeting all of you during ATS 2015. Please do come and say hello and introduce yourselves. I love meeting new people.
Rick, any last parting words?
Sure, I want to sing a little song for you guys. Last year we ended the conference with a song, but it was we know that a lot of companies out there are challenged to go to Agile, and they're struggling through it, and they're trying to make that happen. So there's a song that it's an old song that Eddie, you should be very familiar with this. You gotta fight for your right to be agile.
Woo!
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
And just one more thing, Eddie, nod to ITSMF, for you guys are the people that introduced us to this podcasting. So thank you, and a nod to ITSMF all over the world.
Well, I do this on a volunteer basis, and it's something that I've always wanted to do when I was a youngster, to do some sports broadcasting. So now I'm doing it in IT service management. Before I sign off, Doug wants to know if there's going to be a monthly podcast for Agile enthusiasts. That's something that we can discuss in the future. I want to say once again, thank you to our sponsors, Microsoft and Raleigh. Alex, thank you very much for all your hard work and effort for this conference. Rick, it was great talking to you. My name is Eddie Vidal. Thank everybody for joining us tonight. Everybody, see you in 30 days and counting at the Agile Transformation Summit 2015. Good night.